Hello, this is Stephen Cook with Cook Saw Manufacturing here in June of 2017. Hard to believe the year is about half over. But wanted to start a new series today. We're going to talk about how to get longer blade life when you're sawing with your sawmills. And a lot of people want to know about that. And there's actually quite a few factors that come into play that affect your blade life, how long you get to cut and those things. An interesting thing is that actual sawing of wood is probably only 25% of it, or maybe less. There's several factors that we'll be talking about. To begin with, we'll talk about the wheels. We're going to talk about the size of wheels, if you're buying a sawmill or if you're building a sawmill or whatever, and how that affects them. We'll talk about the roundness of the wheels. They need to be perfectly in round, and we'll show some things about that. The crown on the wheel, and whether it's flat or round, what kind of crown you need to have on the wheel and what that does, and also the vertical alignment of the wheel, and how all of these things affect. If your saw is not sawing correctly, then there's friction building up. And that brings us to roller guides. We'll talk about the roller guides and what they do, how they help control that blade, and how they can cause friction if they're not the proper kind or set up in the right way, and that shortens blade life. So that'll be something interesting. These will be separate little videos that we do. We try to keep them somewhat short and not too long. If you're like me, I need to see something fast and get a little information. Another thing that affects it, a lot of people want to know about, is a mud saw, debarker sometimes we call it. Really on these small sawmills, they're a mud saw cutting a groove, and how that affects it. We'll also talk about how to saw the log so that you're getting into clean wood sooner, even if you don't have a mud saw. So all these little tips that can help you as you're sawing on a day-to-day basis. And then lastly, we will talk about the saw blade and the sawing, what kind of time you should expect when you're sawing, how long a blade should stay sharp, and then actual sharpening. We'll do a little bit talking about sharpening and what makes a sharp saw. And so I think you'll find these interesting. If you're new to the industry, then you'll definitely find them helpful. If you've been around the industry, or if you're sawing different types of things, we talk to people that saw all kind of stuff, even saw ice sometimes. And so we have little tips and things that we've picked up in sawing laminates, or sawing ice, or just sawing trees. And all of these little things that we've done through the years help us to come up with little things, little tips to make the saw longer, better, faster, all those things that you'll be interested in. So if you are interested, subscribe to our channel. That gets you where you get an email. Then when we do get a new one up, we try to do one of these once a week. Sometime a little more, sometimes it's a little less, but you'll know when we have a new one up, and then you can go and watch that.